Though Tracee is only physically present in one episode, her character's fate produces ripple effects and unresolved tension that simmers just below the surface until close to the end of the following season. For now, here's Tracee.
Tony?
How you doing, sweetie?
Good. My son?
Oh, yeah.
You were right. Just a chest cold, not pneumonia, thank God.
Great. I'm glad to hear it.
Tony's no angel, but he does have a soft spot when it comes to certain subjects, kids being one of them. To me, Tony sees Tracee as more of a daughter figure than a potential sexual conquest. In some ways, Tracee isn't too different from the rest of the dancers at Bada Bing. On the other hand, she's seeing Ralph Cifaretto.
Ho, ho, ho! What do we have here?
To borrow Sill's words from an earlier scene,
No good.
Well, what do you think?
About what? What am I looking at?
My teeth. I got braces.
I love the quick transitions back and forth from Tracee to Meadow to Tracee to Caitlin to Tracee, etc., etc. So, speaking of Meadow, Tracee's around the same age, and Tony recognizes this. Tracee is someone's daughter. Sure, it's not his daughter, but the point is, it could be.
You heard what he did. That poor girl just had her 20th birthday.
Capo's what he mentioned. I threw cold water on it right away. But she was a whore, Tony.
You know, I don't want to talk about that situation ever again with anybody.
On one hand, you could argue that it shouldn't take someone being a family member in order for you to give a shit about their well-being. On the other hand, as opposed to the rest of the people in her orbit with Tony, at least Tracee feels there's someone she can talk to. In line with that theme, over the course of University, we see different parallels and contrasts between Meadow and Tracee. For example, Meadow had just lost her virginity. Meanwhile, not only is Tracee sexually active, she's also apparently pregnant with Ralph Cifaretto's child. The fact that Tracee tells Tony he's the only person she can talk to makes me think that she really doesn't have anyone in her life that she really trusts or feels safe with. And here's where we learn a little bit more about Tracee's home life.
You already got one kid. Problems with that, burning them with cigarettes, whatever the fuck you were doing.
I got help for that. I had a lot of repressed anger. The county social worker says it all goes back to my mom and holding my hand on the stove.
Tracee's mother holding her hand over the hot stove, and then Tracee doing similar abusive behavior toward her own child, is an example of intergenerational trauma. We don't learn too much more about Tracee's mom, other than the fact that she watches Tracee's son, Danny, when Tracee isn't home.
Go on, get out of here. Let's go!
When Meadow comes home, Carmela reminds her that she needs to call the dentist office to make an appointment.
I got a postcard from the dentist. It's time to schedule a cleaning.
Dad, I just went.
I got braces.
This is such a powerful transition here. We have Ralph laughing his ass off as Syl drags Tracee out to the car by her hair, and then we see them at the kitchen table, laughing and having a good old time.
Then I go to pour the milk and the carton is empty.
Carmela notices right away that Meadow seems to be in a particularly good mood. What's going on? Meadow's on cloud 9. She just had sex for the first time. So here, sex is associated with growing up, new love. She's happy. Contrast that with Tracee.
What's the braces, honey?
Noah's great, but he can be odd, you know. It's like 1 minute he's all affectionate, and then the next he's like a totally different person.
There's two Tony Sopranos. You've never seen the other one.
Listen, I know you said we can't be friends, but there's no one else I can talk to.
Another contrast here between Meadow and Tracee. We see Meadow. She knows that Carmela's there for her. She knows that she has her mom to talk to. Whereas with Tracee, she tells Tony he's the only one she can talk to. Tracee doesn't have her mom to confide in. to make her breakfast or do her laundry or talk to her about boys. Now you might say, wait, she's at home with Tracy's son Danny. Tracy has a mom she can go home to. But let's use another example to think about that. Joanne Blundetto, Christopher's mother. She's at home. He was able to go over there. Was he able to actually confide in her and really talk to her and connect with her? No. So, just because someone might be physically present doesn't mean that they're actually present for you. For Tracee, Tony's the best option. Tracee has this level of innocence and naivete that makes me feel sympathy for her. As we know from our friend Hesh, man is driven in toto by his insecurities.
Nice, very nice. That's how you talk to a man in front of his friends?
Yeah, right. Man.
Oh, a double. Oh, you tell him, sweetie. I like this girl.
And it sure doesn't help the situation when that man has violent tendencies and is drunk and high. I won't be showing the gruesome moments that immediately follow.
God, it was so horrible.
So let's skip to when Tony comes out. When Tony sees Tracee, I think he's imagining what it would look like to see Meadow lying on the ground like that. Between the moment that Tony punches Ralph here in university and their big fight scene later on in Whoever Did This, Ralph apologizes to Tony.
And I disrespected the Bing. And the girl.
And they continue to do some good business together.
Nice.
At least I'm good for something.
But Tracee stays on Tony's mind, as we see. But for everyone else, it's just business as usual.
He bashed that poor girl's brains in. I hear you. I know. It was a tragedy. The fact is, though, she was not related to you by blood or marriage. She was not your gumad.
I also think of Tracee at this moment in For All That's Public and Private. I know the railing is missing, but the general location makes me think of the spot where she died. Now, getting back to Whoever Did This. Ralph gets his gladiator battle when Tony suspects that Ralph is responsible for a fire that kills Pyomai.
Beautiful innocent creature. What did she ever do to you?
She was a beautiful, innocent creature. What'd she ever do to you? While it makes sense to think that Tony is referring to Pyomai, I also think he's talking about Tracee. Tony never got over what Ralph did to Tracee, and I think it was only a matter of time before Tony sent Ralph into early retirement. Now, once he killed 2 innocent creatures, in Tony's mind, Ralph was definitely responsible for Pyomai's death. Being a good earner just wasn't enough. Now, on this topic of Tracee, Meadow, and Caitlin, we can think about nature versus nurture. If, say, Caitlin and Tracee had been switched at birth. Tracee grew up in Oklahoma, Caitlin grew up in New Jersey at Tracee's home. Would it have led to different outcomes for them when they're older? Like here? What if it was Meadow switched with Tracee, or Meadow switched with Caitlin?
Still miss New Jersey. It's only like half an hour away. It's just this transition. It's a lot of work.
I mean, I just think New York is an experience that unalterably changes a person.
It is really great.
And all this freedom of college.
And on that note, finally, at the end of Whoever Did This, Tony notices a familiar face in the dressing room. To be honest, sometimes I think that this ending scene here is a dream of Tony's, just given all the variables and circumstances, and kind of seems odd that they would wake up right there in the ladies' dressing room. But for what it's worth, we get a final glimpse of Tracee. And that's the story of Tracee. Lots of heavy stuff to unpack and process, but I hope you found it interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.